Hi team, and welcome back to my channel. For those who are new here, then hi, my name is Lara and this channel is all about productive and purposeful living. In light of everything that's going on in the world right now, I thought that it would be best for me to make a video that's all about how to effectively work from home, because a lot of us are nowadays. We've kind of been forced into this corner, and you've also noticed my background has changed into my home office. That one is actually because I have broken my foot, so I can't actually stand where I used to do background, so I hope that this is still quite pleasing, even though there's like some stacks of to-do lists around the joint. So because this is a relatively new experience for a lot of us, I thought that I would make a video about it because weirdly it's kind of old hat for me. I've run my own business, I am currently a YouTuber, I'm also an independent circus artist, so I thought for those of you who are out there that may not have had any experience from working from home and are now thrust into this world of trying to use your home as your office and how to function effectively in it, I'm here to help you out. First and foremost, the most important thing to do when you are working from home is lock down your routines, and importantly in this kind of climate is to also replicate routines. So first of all, the same way you would usually get ready for work, continue to get ready for work. Get up at maybe not the same time of day because you can cut out your commute, but get up, get dressed as if you are going for work. Granted, again, you don't need to kind of like suit and tie or like expensive blouse, but make yourself ready. Go through those motions that you would usually go through. Dress in attire that usually isn't home attire. Again, it doesn't have to be to that same crazy level of work, but something that is a little bit above and beyond what you would usually wear at home. This way, it kind of tricks your brain into entering that same work mode and same space that you would if you were going to the office. It preps your brain for what you're about to do. The other thing that you want to try and do considering your routines is replicate your existing work routines. If you, for example, have a habit of going into work and the first thing you do is you pick yourself up a coffee and then you have a coffee meeting with your team where you just catch up on what the day is like. Continue to do that. Keep that in your home office routine. Make yourself a cup of coffee and then use these amazing services like FaceTime or Zoom or Skype to connect with those people. The same way that you do this kind of thing, it's also important to keep regular scheduled meetings. So if they are recurring meetings, see if they make sense in this new climate. Granted, sometimes it may not, because it could be things like, we need to meet up about that big outdoor event that we're hosting. If that event's now cancelled, you probably don't need that regular meeting. But if they're regular catch-up sessions with your boss, if they're regular team meetings, if they're a regular client-to-client check-in, maybe try and keep those as a standard. Another way to create normalcy in your workspace out of this chaos is to keep a routine of work hours. So again, this may not be a 9 to 5 anymore. You may have been given limited work hours for what you need to be doing from home, but still keep some form of normalized hours. This way you can really compartmentalize the pieces of your life that are dedicated to work and the pieces of your life that are dedicated to home time and home activities. Not only does it do this, but it creates routine in your brain, and your brain loves routine, it loves structure. So give it that tool to help it work at its most effective. This may not seem like as important a routine to keep, but honestly, it is one of the most important. While you are isolated, while you are quarantined, while you are stir-crazy cabin fevery, keep an exercise routine. Not only will this help you to feel invigorated and alert for your day, but it also really impacts your mental health. Doing even a small amount of exercise will really promote productivity and focus in your mind and in your body. Next, let's talk a little bit about your workplace. So this behind me is my workplace. This is my home office that I set up. You've probably seen it. I posted a video about it. This is my home office layout. Having a dedicated space, first and foremost, is so important. Again, speaking about compartmentalizing and structuring your life. If you have a dedicated workspace, then your brain will automatically associate that place with productivity and with work. If you can, make it a home office situation like this. If you do not have that, that is totally fine. Then just isolate an area in your house that will be your workstation. It does not have to be permanent. If it is a place that you're going to work at, it's going to be your standard workplace, it might be at your kitchen table, then make it collapsible. Make it something that as part of your routine, you set up first thing in the morning, you work out during the day, and then you pack up. Because then your brain will associate the setup area as workspace and work time. As soon as that space is set up, it understands that it needs to function for work. And when it's set down, it understands that this space is entirely transformed and for a different purpose. Now let's talk about one of the most major things in all of workplace from homeness: distractions. You will have a bajillion distractions around you all the time. So how do we minimize this in your workplace? Firstly, distracting things. So things covers your television, music playing, your phone, all of these little gadgets that mess in your house is a thing distraction. So the best way to minimize your things distraction is to turn them off. So one of the great tools that I really like to use are web blockers. What on earth is the name of the one I use? Let me just check. I use a web blocker called Stay Focused, and it is awesome because you can isolate hours during the day, your dedicated work hours, where it will block certain sites that you enter. So you might want to block Netflix, you might want to block Stan, you might want to block Hulu, whatever your streaming devices are. You might want to block YouTube, you might want to block BuzzFeed, Facebook during your work hours. This means that while you're working on your laptop at home, you don't get distracted by these things. The other thing that really helps is to have your dedicated work space. When you're in your workspace, all of those things cease to exist. So if you can, in your dedicated workspace, it's really ideal to have it facing a wall, if possible, because then visually it blocks all of those things distractions. Otherwise, make sure you take care of your things distractions at the top of your day. In your pre-work time, get some of the cleaning done, get some of the prep done the night before. Make sure everything is tidy and that those distractions are removed for the next day. So usually in an office situation, you'll be surrounded by people. Now in isolation, not so much, but there's still some you need to think about. You need to think about your partner or your roommates, if you happen to have them. Otherwise, be free. You can kind of skip ahead past this section. But if you do have other people that are now living and working with you in the same space, you need to set clear boundaries. A great way to do this is by saying, here's my dedicated work hours between blank and blank. I can't speak to you. I might even put headphones in as a way to do that. If I have headphones in, then please don't speak to me because I need to focus. You can set up these little tools to make sure that they are not distracting you during those periods of time. It may also be a negotiation, because if you have multiple people working within the same space, if one of you is a web developer but you share the same internet, you might need to segment the times that you work. You might not be able to work the same hours because they may be using more of your internet capability than you actually have. There may be these sorts of compromises that you need to work out in tandem. So make sure you set clear boundaries and you discuss these compromises openly before you start your workplace experience. Again, only if you have them. And particularly I'm talking about dogs because I have one. He's real cute. He's laying over there right now watching me film. It's pretty adorable. If you have one, try and make sure that you exercise them at the top of your day. Usually it doesn't matter quite so much because you're gone for all of the middle of the day. But if you are home and your dog is full of beans, then they will come and annoy you at every 2-second intervals because they want your attention. If you take them for a walk right at the top of your day, if you go out and exercise them, play with them, play games, give them something to do, then it will keep them calm for while you're doing all of your workload. If you aren't in a meeting time or a time where it's necessary to take calls, turn on your do not disturb. If you don't need your phone for work reasons, put it in a drawer, put it away from you because it is a huge source of distraction. The other thing that's really great is an app called Forest where you can shut down your phone for certain amounts of time. So then it's kind of like you can't use all of your social media, you can't get distracted by all of these things for X amount of time. There are an amazing suite of options available for you for this, so just have a bit of a hunt around. I will link the ones that I have quoted to you down below. The next thing we're talking about is your work day. So what are little bits in your day-to-day work life that may look different, feel different, and how can we give you tools to get through them? First of all, calendar block your day. Ensuring you're blocking out your day keeps you scheduled, keeps you organized, and keeps you focused because you know where you're at. You have forward thought what your day is going to look like, and now you have a plan in place to keep to. Don't undervalue how important this can be. It is so great for keeping you consistent and keeping you on track while you're working from your very busy home life. Next is to take breaks, and take breaks often. The same amount that you would go and make a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, go to the water cooler, all of those regular breaks you would take during your office, make sure that you do that in your home. And most importantly, don't just make those breaks online. What I mean by that is don't just go, I'm about done with this, I'm just gonna spend 10 minutes on Facebook. Actually get up, get physical, and move around for your break. This will really stimulate your work again. It'll keep your brain on track, it'll get the blood flowing, and you'll be much more productive afterwards. Speaking of breaks, you also want to make sure that you take a regular lunch break. This was sort of covered in keep to your original work schedule, but make sure that you actually take an entire break. Make sure you step away from your work station out into regular home life and take a break out there. Do not take your breaks at your desk. Don't do that, because then your brain doesn't separate work and life anymore. So make sure that those are separated. Meetings is something that we tend to do a lot in our work day and in our working from home life, but we're used to being able to do that face to face, maybe over coffee. Oh my goodness, has that been out the whole time? Moving on. Oh, it looks like I kind of have like flowers in my hair. I'm not gonna be able to unsee that. So the reason I wanted to talk about meetings specifically is because there are a lot of tools that you can use to help you to take meetings while you're working from home. One of the biggest ones I wanted to talk about straight off the bat is dress for a meeting. Dress the way you usually would. Just because you're working at home, don't wear a t-shirt and shorts unless that's what you would usually wear in your office. Still try and keep your professionalism while you're speaking to people, even in online mediums. The same way you do that, you want to set agendas for meetings. List the topics that you're going to cover. Make sure that you're not getting off track. Make sure you send those to people in advance. And then you don't spend all of your time just catching up with someone because you haven't had social interaction in so long. The first way that it's super easy to take meetings while you're in a working from home situation is over the phone. People have been conference calling since the dawn of time, since the dawn of telephones. It's a really simple, easy way to do it. However, I honestly think that conference calling via video chat is actually a way better way to do it. And particularly when we're feeling more socially isolated, being able to see a face on the other end of a screen is actually really comforting. If you have any questions about other ways to work from home, if there are any other issues that you have, please comment down below and let me know, and I will be happy to answer them. Let's all support each other, let's be strong. It'll be tough, but we're all in it together. All right, thanks team, peace out.